Hey guys, and welcome back to Secret Files 888. We're going to be checking out some more conspiracy theories and some creepy TikToks. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, make sure to like, subscribe, and watch the rest of this video. We're going to jump right in. I hope you enjoy them.
Y'all, it's really starting to concern me that Nicki Minaj, the boy, the Roman, is really possessed. And all it took was for Megan to divinely bring this demon out and show y'all this woman need help. Listen to this clip of Nicki going off on live, because I don't know if it's a demon or she doing too much white baby powder. But y'all, what the fuck? Listen.
Lied on your dead mama, 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 mama, lied on your dead mama, lied on your dead mama.
And this proves she got a demon. She tweaking.
All
I'm gonna say is, Megan, we on your side with this one. She ain't had no right trying to sit here and tell you to conjure up your dead mama, but she would have went off even more if somebody would have brought up her dead father. Like, how you gonna speak on some shit that you don't want nobody treating you like that? It's always in the eyes. You already know.
Suggest if you want to continue seeing her stuff, don't comment anything about it. She has blocked me on her TikTok and her Instagram. Those who are curious, like what Scientology is, it was created by a writer in Hollywood who wrote fiction novels, who basically believes that we were all godlike at one point. They also don't believe in mental health, and they don't believe that you are living in reality if your brain experiences trauma. They do things that are called auditing that cost thousands and thousands of dollars. And apparently, after auditing your brain of these supposed traumas, you will be able to see the world for what it truly is. This is an ex-Scientologist and Sea Org member. If you guys don't know, Sea Organization is the charter boats for Scientologists. And he was involved with Scientology for 25 years. And he eventually worked at its highest levels in the Sea Organization. And he says Scientology is always worse than you think. There is human rights abuse cover-up, pedophilia cover-up, human trafficking, and slave labor in Scientology that are really as bad as you've probably heard. And he saw and was exposed to quite a bit of this when he was there. And when I say they don't believe in mental health, let me give you some examples. In 2007, a 25-year-old woman from Sydney was charged with murdering her father, her sister, and injuring her mother. Her parents prevented her from treatment because of their Scientology beliefs. This anti-mental health is something that the church constantly spews to its members. One of their most publicized deaths was that of Lisa McPherson. She was a 36-year-old woman, and she was one of the organization members. While in the care of the Scientologists at the Scientology-owned Fort Harrison Hotel in Clearwater, Florida, she was displaying symptoms suggesting she was struggling with mental illness. In one case, she removed all of her clothes after being involved in a minor traffic accident, later remarking she had done so in hopes of obtaining counseling. The church, however, intervened to prevent Lisa from receiving psychiatric treatment and to keep her in the church custody. Records show that she was then placed in a Scientology program. The church then forced her into isolation. This was a common tactic to handle a psychotic episode. Weeks later, she was pronounced dead on arrival at a hospital. The autopsy identified multiple hematomas, bruises, and abrasions on the nose and lesions that were consistent with insect and animal bites. The autopsy showed that she died of a pulmonary embolism. In 2004, the Church of Scientology settled with Lisa's family for $100 million. So as you guys can see, this is not a religion. This is a straight up cult that hurts children and women and anybody else that gets its hands too deep into it. And I 100% believe that it is your obligation as an influencer on this app to tell your followers if you and your family give money to a church that does this to people.
So, yeah, what do you guys know about Scientology? I have a little secret. I actually was a part of a church that was connected to Scientology. And so, yes, I have actually seen some inside Scientology kind of stuff. And yeah, maybe one day I'll share it with you guys because it was pretty crazy. Some things I will just never forget, like, scarred into my brain. So, yeah.
Remember how I told you there are these hidden books of the Bible that were taken out of the Bible for unknown reasons by a specific religion because they did not want people to know these stories? I have already shared with you the story of where giants came from, or the Nephilim, the real story of Adam and Eve, but I think this story that I'm going to share with you is one that people really need to hear. How many times have you asked yourself, what really happened between Satan and God? I'm almost 100% certain most people have heard the watered down version of why God and Satan parted ways. So what I find the most interesting about uncovering these details about the true history of God and Satan, or which I believe to actually be factual knowledge, is that the story is completely different and Satan's name is even different too. And it doesn't surprise me because one thing that this religion does, who hid the books of the Bible, is change things to try to make them seem like they're their own. So for one, Satan's actual name is Satanas, and it is said that he was actually one of the two sons of God. So one was Satanas and the other one was Christ. But the story says that Satanas actually existed before Christ. It is said that Satanas was of the highest of highs. He was God's right-hand man, and he had so much esteem that God actually used him for many tasks. He was God's steward. So Satanas was upset with his position and he rebelled against God, his own father, and he persuaded other angels to do the same. Satanas, who was said to have been God's son before Christ, persuaded these angels, and God found out and cast everyone out of heaven. And Satanas was said to be so powerful that when God casted him out, he'd wandered amongst the veil of darkness until he decided to create his own world. He created a second heaven, and this second heaven was the universe. It goes on to say that Satanas created the physical world with all of its misery and suffering. Satanas, which is also an acronym for Satan, was said to have actually created Adam. And Satanas was said to have created Adam out of water and earth. But unfortunately, in Satan trying to create Adam to be his right-hand man, it proved that Adam was defective. Adam did not partake in any of the rebellion that Satanas tried to make him do, and this is why he went to Eve as a serpent and got him to eat the fruit. This is the fruit that caused Adam and Eve to be banned from the garden. See, Satanas tried to breathe air and life into Adam, and it trickled out and became a serpent, which was the serpent-like tongue that he used to tell Eve to eat of this forbidden fruit. That's not the only version. There are 3 to 4 plus versions of this character named Satanas in the Apocrypha, and I'm going to tell you the other one really quick. So the other one is that he actually created Adam, but he could not animate him. So Adam laid 300 years motionless, lifeless, and with no spirit. Thus, Satanas roamed throughout the world eating unclean animals, and he came back and vomited into Adam's mouth, which gave off something completely different. So if you ever want to know why this is not in the Bible, it's because it literally talks about Satan possessing Adam. And Satan doing this to Adam, Adam's soul was corrupted and defiled and imprisoned. And after he created this possessed version of Adam, he used this to do unspeakable acts to Eve with a serpent's tail, and this is why Cain and Abel were created. And if you know anything about Cain, like I said in my last video, he had a murderous spirit, and he is said to have killed Abel, and this is where the Nephilim come from. I'm gonna do another part on this, and let me just say, I understand if you guys are like, what the hell, but I'm just educating because this is knowledge from books of the Bible that were taken out. So there's a reason they took them out. I'm not saying everything's 100% true, but I'm saying you guys should probably read them.
If you hear this sound in the woods, you should run.
So does anybody remember that video that Moat Owens posted where he went 15 miles out into the woods and he heard something screaming, but a lot of people said it could be a bobcat?
That ain't no bobcat.
Hello?
Something's
People asked for him to
charging
go back, so he did, by himself, and he caught this on camera.
Just wait till
I
the
don't like
end.
this at all. Oh god, there's even more bones than last time. Looks like we've already passed it a while ago, but that tree is gone. I'm probably gonna turn around soon.
It's getting dark. He looks lost. Cool.
Oh, there's 2 ways. Holy crap, dude, this trail going on forever. It just got really quiet really fast.
That means a large predator is in the area. Oh, no. If you didn't just see that right then, rewind it. I believe he just saw a skinwalker. Go, buddy. Go, go, go.
That was my cue to leave.
Yep.
What was this?
That's a skin.
dolphins. Well, it's a baby dolphin, dude. Dude, more are coming. Dude, here they come. Dude, get down there. If they hit us, they're f***ing our ass.
Check. New fear unlocked.
Welcome back to the True Crime Iceberg. Today we're talking about I Feel Fantastic. That's right, this one here. This infamous video, it was also one of the first internet story cases that I covered. So it has a very special place in my heart. But anyway, if you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, I Feel Fantastic refers to a very short video that was posted online around 2004. And this video was of a creepy android robot thing, and it sang a song with the lyrics, I Feel Fantastic. The android actually has a name. Her name's Tara, and she was created by somebody called John. And John originally programmed Tara to sing these songs so people could, like, pay for it online for, like, a fee. I don't know. I don't even want to touch that. It sounds kind of weird. So it was something that started off, like, really innocently. And obviously the internet does what the internet does and made it not so innocent. Due to the quality of the video and just the overall, like, eeriness from it, it wasn't very popular, to say the least, but it wasn't actually uploaded to YouTube up until April 2009. And that was where Tara received her infamy with, I think it's got like 11 million views to this day. But the theories and rumours that ranged from this video was insane. Like, people were coming up with some wild stuff, saying that John, the creator of Tara, was a serial killer. And that the reason he programmed her to say, I feel fantastic, is because that's what he wished his victims would say. And that he dressed her in his victims' clothes. And another thing that added fuel to this theory was because during the video, it randomly, like, pans to a garden. Like, no explanation. And people said that this was where he must have buried his victims because, you know, obviously that is the only explanation possible for that being in the video. Obviously. But this has been debunked. Obviously, he's not some kind of killer. She's just a robot singing a song. That's all there was to it, unfortunately.
Voted the only woman on the FBI's most wanted list due to earn her spot. Ruja Ignatova is a 42-year-old Bulgarian-born German citizen who is currently on the run from multiple international law enforcement agencies. Known as the Crypto Queen, Ruja is the founder of OneCoin, one of the largest cryptocurrency scams of all time. OneCoin was started in 2014, and from the start, Ruja claimed that it would make Bitcoin obsolete, but the whole time she knew it was a scam. OneCoin is considered both a pyramid scheme and a Ponzi scheme, as it recruited investors without providing any products and paid investors with money obtained from newer recruits. For a while, she gave off the impression of success, even speaking at large events to spread awareness of OneCoin. But soon her world came crumbling down when both US and international investigators began to investigate, and word spread online that OneCoin was a scam. In total, Ruja scammed her investors out of over $4 billion. On October 25th, 2017, she boarded a plane in Bulgaria and has not been seen since. In 2022, she was added to the FBI's most wanted list, and as of the making of this video, her whereabouts are unknown.
His name until you get close to the draft, and his name is David Stern. You always know who this man is.
I met him before the draft. He says, even for the lottery, he said, you want to play where it's hot or where it's cold? And I said, hot. Then Orlando gets the ball. I don't think none of it. I'm at the draft, and he's coming up with the envelope, and he's looking at the envelope, and he goes,
a stretch there, but you guys pulled it out and was a big win.
David Stern wonder why the league is losing money. That's why. People pay good money to come watch these athletes play, and they try to take over the fucking game.
Think about it. You're not going to catch the company, man.
Well, they're not technically doing anything wrong, but Veta and Foster are fixing the game on behalf of the company.
Yeah.
So there's no illegal, because the NBA is an entertainment company. It is wrestling. From a paperwork contractual standpoint, the NBA is wrestling.
And they don't get publicly reprimanded like we do.
No, because most people watch Game 7 of that Spurs-Pistons series, and unless you're a Pistons fan, so this tiny pocket of America is watching this game being like, man, our big men have 14 fouls and Tim Duncan has 2.
What get your problems in that third quarter? You know, last year I said something, I fined $50,000 or $25,000 for saying it, so I won't say it.
So I knew that WWE was rigged, but I had no idea that all these other sports were rigged. And now I just wonder, are they actually trying to find like the best players or just the best actors when they're like scouting?
You don't go down there 22 times, Emery.
Well,
just to observe plants and animals.
They weren't all they were not all of the, the same place each time, George. There were, different places that you would go. And we were investigating these other beings that were down there and seeing, what, if they could be a problem in the future, maybe. We were doing some observations. We weren't hurting anyone or kidnapping anything. But we did come upon, like I said, carcasses of beings that we would harvest these samples of tissue and bring them back and study it.
You mean to tell me that you folks went down there, you especially, 22 times, and you didn't take one of these little creatures or one of these animals or a plant?
We did set many traps for the animals and the different life beings that were down there. And we did take those back, yes.
You do? And some of them are probably alive today? A little creature,
I'm sure,
in some
100%. Well, I mean, they're still doing it. So, I mean, this is an ongoing project.
Do these things communicate? I mean, what does the little creature sound like?
Well, there's many different types of creatures, just like there's many different types of creatures on top of the earth.
Oh, yeah.
So think about...
But these are more human than animal, you said.
Well, they are. Well, they're more conscious. Animals are conscious, but these creatures are more communicative, I'll say.
Signal coming from the Black Knight satellite was detected by Nikola Tesla in the early 1900s. He thought it could have been an alien civilization living on Mars. Actually, it was the Black Knight satellite giving out the signal. So this thing could be super ancient. This device that's up there orbiting our planet in a polar orbit, which shouldn't even be able to happen, for thousands of years, could be about 11 to 13,000 years old.
These are some of the most normal jobs that serial killers held. H.H. Holmes was a jack of all trades, working as an insurance seller and scamming people before he settled into work as a pharmacist. That gave him the money he needed to pursue his dream, building a murder hotel filled with traps so he could kill up to 200 people. Chocolate factory worker sounds like a fun gig, the kind that would be taken by a whimsical man looking to bring joy to children. Instead, a twisted cannibal like Jeffrey Dahmer, who was also a former combat medic. A surprising number of serial killers worked in the medical field because it gives them access to easy victims. This includes baby killer Lucy Letby and prolific angel of mercy killer Charles Cullen, who targeted the sick and elderly. Others even worked in law enforcement, with Robert Lee Yates working as a prison guard and Golden State Killer Joseph D'Angelo being an ex-cop. Some worked very respectable jobs. Long Island serial killer Rex Heuermann, just caught, worked as an in-demand architect and businessman. And others are less surprising. John Wayne Gacy worked as a party clown. Pennywise approves.
Once you understand this symbol, it can literally change your life, and here's how. The concept of yin and yang started in China but quickly spread across the globe. This is because people realize that this applies to everything in life, including our own. And here are some examples of how this concept is used in your everyday life. It cannot be light without it being dark. Being hot wouldn't exist if being cold didn't exist. You could be having the best day of your life with everything going perfect, but other days may not be as good because everything went wrong. So if you really think about it, yin and yang really dictates everything in our life. But you can actually use yin and yang to help change your life. When things aren't going your way, don't react in a negative or angry way because it won't stay like that forever. Remember that everything will come back around in your favor and you will have good days again. This is why there's a white dot in the black and a black dot in the white, because with the good comes the bad and with the bad comes the good. Understanding the principles of yin and yang will ultimately change your life because then you know how to use it.
In Satan's world, Satan is the planet Saturn. They are not spinning rocks, they are light within the firmament. Satan is the outermost layer of the soul system, not solar system. As our mind and soul descended into the physical material world, we hit Satan, Saturn first. We are then crystallized into a carbon suit, which is the body, 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, the number of the beast. This is the beast, the animal. On the planet Saturn, you have the cube. Add up all the points, you get a 6-pointed star. 6.6 triangles, 6 sides, 666. Male and female energy combined into one. Higher self and lower self combined into one, physical, spiritual. This is why you see black cubes everywhere in all major cities, because Saturn rules the winter, and winter is associated with the color black. black, so it's the black cube. This is why it says in the Bible, Satan, who is the god of this world. Saturn is the god of this world because it's physical matter, the material world, the crystallized world, the third dimension, the cube. This is why you see Saturn in all of the corporation logos and 666 everywhere you go. The Star of David in a circle creates IXXI, which is Roman numerals for 9/11. This is why 9/11 is the two black cubes. For more information on this, the link is in the bio for this PDF. Join the Patreon for occult topics I can't talk about online.
I've heard of people experiencing the Oz factor. So the Oz factor is kind of like how its name implies. It's like whenever Dorothy accidentally goes into like another realm or dimension whenever the tornado happens in The Wizard of Oz. So that's what the Oz factor means. It means that people can accidentally disassociate so hard that we accidentally cross into another dimension or nearby realm or like a place between universes. Lots of examples of people experiencing this say that they may be like in the woods or on a hike in the middle of nowhere, and all the sounds like birds or animals or streams just suddenly goes away, and then everything becomes distorted or everything starts to look or feel kind of weird. Others say they may be like walking around in public and then all their interactions start to be really weird between people they interact with on the street, or like if they go into a building it might have no workers and be kind of like a liminal space. And that's basically what the Oz factor is. Let me know if you've experienced it in the comments. I'm really interested to see what you guys say.
This theory could go either way. Moving on to number 95, we got the Atlantean tunnels. This is basically believed to be an underground underwater tunnel system that was created by a super advanced civilization and is mostly credited to the Atlanteans. There is no evidence, however, that these tunnel systems exist, but theories that believe this will cite old evidence or testaments of there being an underground tunnel system. This theory also relates a little bit to the hollow earth theory, basically stating that there's a whole nother layer underneath our earth of traversable land. But as of yet, there has been no significant tunnel system that goes underwater linking any significant land masses. So for now,
I'm Jeffrey Edward Epstein, and my residence address is 6100 Red Hook Boulevard in Virgin Islands.
Do you maintain any other residences presently?
I have vacation homes in New Mexico, Palm Beach, New York, and Paris.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
Yes.
What was the crime of which you were convicted?
Two counts, one soliciting prostitution and procuring a minor for prostitution.
Did you in fact commit those acts?
I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right.
How many times have you solicited a minor for prostitution?
Same answer.
How many times have you solicited a minor for prostitution in the state of Florida?
Same answer.
Have you ever solicited a minor for prostitution in the Virgin Islands?
Same answer.
That is, you are invoking your Fifth Amendment.
Yes, right. Yes.
Ice Spice acts really weird when the Illuminati is brought up.
This is like
Watch
the definition of hidden in plain sight. Pete Davidson introduces the show and he says, I'm hosting along with Ice Spice. And then Kenan Thompson makes a joke. He's like, oh, we're 3 Gen Z icons. And then Ice Spice is like, aren't you 40? And listen to what he says.
Hi, I'm Pete Davidson and I will be hosting the season premiere of SNL with Ice Spice. Look at us, 3 Gen Z icons.
Aren't you like 40?
No. Long time ago I met this guy and made a deal where I get to stay 25 years old for forever.
They put it right in front of our faces.
Red fur, I don't know, little hoods. Keen, that's the devil, dude. What? I thought it was like a Times Square Elmo or
And
something.
they make it out to be a
I'm
joke.
really like, girl, this is clearly a joke. But watch their reactions. Watch each person's face while he's saying this. It's really sus.
I met this guy and made a deal where I get to stay 25 years old for forever. What guy? Tall fella, horns, red fur, I don't know, little hoods. Keen, that's the devil, dude. What? I thought it was like a
He's
Times
definitely
Square Elmo or
nervous
something.
about this.
No. Long time ago I met this guy
And
and
watch
made a
her
deal where I
face.
get to stay 25 years old for forever. What guy? Tall fella, horns, red fur, I don't know, little hoods. Keen, that's the devil, dude. What? I thought it was like a Times Square Elmo or something.
And a lot of people are bringing up this point. They're like, Kenan Thompson, Loki doesn't really age. If you look through at all these old photos of him, I can
Won't believe what this man was caught doing with a corpse. 46-year-old Randall Bird was caught doing inappropriate things to a corpse while he was working his shift as a security guard at the Banner University Medical Center in Phoenix. Randall's job was to bring deceased bodies to the hospital's morgue and slip them into the freezer. But during his shift, coworkers walked in on him and caught Randall inside the freezer with his zipper down, his uniform looking messy, and a body bag open. He was seen almost on top of the 79-year-old deceased woman, and when the workers walked in, he quickly tried to cover the body. The workers said that Randall looked so sweaty and nervous when they caught him, and his excuse was that he had a medical emergency and he almost passed out. His co-workers did not believe a single word and reported the incident. When Randall was interviewed by police a few days later, he basically just said the same story and said that he couldn't remember much of what happened. But not long after, investigators found his DNA on the woman's body, which proves that Randall was in fact doing what we all assumed. He was arrested and now faces multiple charges.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard's ex-boyfriend, Nicholas Godejohn, has spoken out for the first time since her release from prison, and he is apparently now referring to himself as Mr. Smiley. The New York Post apparently reached out to him in prison, and he responded. Nicholas, who looks a lot different than he did 8 years ago, is serving life in prison for killing Gypsy Rose Blanchard's mother, Dee Dee Blanchard. He got life in prison with no parole, and she got 10 years and was just paroled this past December. In his reply to the New York Post, he stated, "I want people to know that I am not lost in the ether of all of what is going on with whom shall not be named. I am just being patient for my true time to speak." He wouldn't use Gypsy Rose Blanchard's name, and when the Post asked him what he thought of her newfound fame, he replied saying, "A lot of these questions will be answered in a foreseeable interview at the right time, which is not now." They said he was childlike and polite in the email, used a lot of smiley faces, and he ended it by saying, "Stay positive, healthy, and safe. True sincerity, Nicholas," but in brackets added Mr. Smiley. Nicholas Godejohn has put in an appeal for a new trial. His lawyers are saying that his mental state didn't meet requirements to be charged with first-degree murder, and he should have been charged with second-degree. His lawyers state that there's no timeline when they may hear back about this, but it could be a panel of 3 judges that will decide whether or not he gets a new trial.
How DuPont poisoned the world. DuPont, which as of 2017 is now known as Dow DuPont, was the creator of Teflon, which is used in everything from non-stick pans to waterproof clothing. Pretty much everything you come into contact with nowadays has some form of Teflon. One of the main ingredients in Teflon and what gives it its non-stick properties is a chemical called C8. It is a PFOA, which, to give you the abbreviated version, is a perfluorochemical, which is very bad for your health in large quantities and very bad for the environment. Both DuPont and 3M were aware of the dangers of C8 as they had been studying it since the 1960s, yet they still continue to dump it into waterways, poisoning and killing people. One former DuPont employee, Sue Bailey, after working for DuPont for years handling the chemical C8, her son was born with birth defects like half of a nose, 1 nostril, and a serrated eyelid. Yet DuPont tried to say they had no blame. As of 2015, these chemicals have been banned.
Looking at me like you want my man. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
I told you guys I was gonna bring the tea for all those 13 bloodlines in America, didn't I? Didn't I? Yeah, this is one of them, and this actually happened 10 years ago, so I love that the media never really reported on it. Ooh, I wonder
Worst
why.
experiments in history. Number 1. The Monster Study. Wendell Johnson and Mary Tudor, researchers at the University of Iowa, experimented on 22 orphan children in Davenport in 1939. The children were separated into 2 groups, the first of which received positive speech therapy where children were praised for speech fluency. Children in the second group received negative speech therapy and were made fun of for any errors in their speech. The negative treatment had detrimental psychological repercussions on many of the normally speaking orphan children, and some of them had lifelong speech issues.
Whatever you have tattooed on whatever body part is what you're constantly manifesting. The people who have the tattoos of heartbroken on their hearts are always complaining, crying, and never in happy relationships.
One of the most tragic unsolved cases from Japan you'll ever hear. On January 15, 2007, at around 7:45 p.m. in Sakyo Ward of Kyoto, Japan, a 20-year-old student from Kyoto Seiga University's manga department named Daisaku Chiba was bicycling home on a sidewalk. Everything was normal and peaceful until Daisaku crossed paths with another cyclist who was an agitated man dressed in all-black sportswear with distinctive extropic eyes. An eyewitness saw Chiba being cornered by this man who verbally abused him, and this is where things got tragic. The heated altercation swiftly escalated into a life-or-death struggle as the man pulled out a knife and proceeded to stab Chiba over a dozen times. Despite Chiba's attempts to fight back, the man's fury overpowered him, leaving Chiba fatally injured on a cold sidewalk. When discovered, Chiba's dying words were, quote, "I was stabbed by a man I didn't know. Please call an ambulance," end quote. Unfortunately for Chiba, he passed away on that fateful night before he was able to be transferred to the hospital. And what's even worse is that even with all the eyewitness accounts, the killer has never been caught, but the Japanese police was able to get this composite sketch of the perpetrator.
Theory that Mars was the original planet that humans were from, and then something happened that we all had to fly to another planet and live on. So there used to be like civilization that lived on Mars.
But now it's all dried up, right?
Now it's all dried up. Now bag this. On Mars, there's an element on the periodic table called xenon. Now, xenon on Earth is only found, this is crazy, is only found after a nuclear explosion.
No.
Theory, and it goes hand in hand now. What if on Mars there was a nuclear warfare, destroyed the whole planet, but people were able to escape just in time, landed on Earth, and they had to restart from nothing.
So we are the aliens.
We're the aliens. What the hell?
No, that's kind of weird. But that makes sense also.
Because that's how low-key the Earth would end up looking like if we did have
if something happened like that. Yeah.
No, but this is like real proof. Like this is search it up.
Yeah?
It's real shit. Like this element's called xenon, and it's prominent after nuclear explosion.
Okay.
Covered in Mars.
What do you guys think of this? Do you think that this actually could have happened? I mean, to me, it makes sense as to why they would consider Mars the planet of war, right? Because maybe they had a war there. And I don't think it was just like the Greeks and the Romans who thought that either. I think there was actually like multiple religions who actually consider Mars a war planet, right? Or a godly planet. Thank you guys so much for watching till the very end. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys for the next one. You guys stay safe out there. Bye.